Most people think when they meet somebody with learning difficulties, they assume that person is also on the autism spectrum. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Nerissa and I am a mom to 3 children. One of my children is on the autism spectrum. He was also diagnosed with learning difficulty, disability, Tourette syndrome, anxiety, and ADHD. Today, I want to talk about the relationship between autism and learning disability, or autism and learning difficulty. We're going to discuss the similarities and also the differences, because most people think that if a person is diagnosed with autism, they already have a learning difficulty. Yet those are two different conditions that can co-occur in one person. And there are two conditions that can be found in two different people. They can also be found in one person, but two different conditions. So most people think when they meet somebody with learning difficulties, they assume that person is also on the autism spectrum. That is not always the case. Those are two different conditions. So let's start by simply defining those two different conditions so that we see where the differences are. Autism and learning disability are two distinct conditions that can sometimes be confused, as we have said. They can sometimes be confused with each other due to the overlapping symptoms. The symptoms that occur in both conditions, they can co-occur. They can appear in both individuals. We have separate conditions, but let's break down so that it makes a little bit more sense and it sheds more light so that we have more knowledge and we are more aware, and then we can be able to understand why they are different but can still occur in one individual, like the case with my son. What is autism? I did a video that defines autism. If you scroll down on my YouTube channel, you will come across. But for the purposes of this video, let's quickly define what autism is. Autism, or ASD, autism spectrum disorder, is a neurological disorder that affects communication, social interaction, and behavior. Individuals with autism may have difficulties with verbal or non-verbal communication. They also struggle with social interactions and repetitive behaviors, but it can also impact learning and development. That is the definition of autism. It's a neurological disorder that affects communication, social interaction, and behavior. Individuals with autism may have difficulties with verbal and or non-verbal communication. Social interactions, repetitive behaviors may be prevalent in those individuals. Autism is not a learning difficulty, but it can impact learning and development. Now, let's also define what a learning disability or learning difficulty is. A learning disability is a condition that affects the individual's ability to learn and process information. Learning disability is a condition that affects the individual's ability to learn and process information. Learning disabilities can impact various areas such as reading, writing, math, problem solving. Learning disabilities are often diagnosed based on discrepancies between expected and actual academic achievement. So let's also then focus on the key differences that we find in these two different conditions that can co-occur in one individual. The key differences: number one, the primary impact of these two conditions. Autism primarily affects social interaction, communication, and behavior, while learning disabilities primarily affect academic learning, achievement, and skill. Now let's talk about the second key difference between autism and learning difficulty or learning disability. The second difference that I want to talk about is the cognitive profile. Individuals with autism have unique cognitive profiles with strengths in specific areas and weaknesses or challenges in other specific areas. Learning difficulties can also impact cognitive functioning, but the primary challenge is in learning and applying specific skills. That is the difference about the cognitive profiles between learning difficulty and autism. So this is where now we realize that in learning difficulty or learning disability, the individual struggles with applying the learned information. Now the application, let's say it's in math, they've learned the multiplication or division, and now they are asked to apply that information, and then they struggle to use what they have learned to apply it in practice. That is learning difficulty or learning disability. But with autism, they can have strengths in math. They can know their numbers, they can know their multiplication, they can know their subtraction, their addition, you name it, but still struggle with other specific challenges. So they can do so well in other aspects of learning, but still struggle in other aspects that doesn't even require learning or that involves learning, maybe different. Maybe it's literacy, they're good at math, but they're not so well in literacy. So those are some of the cognitive profile differences that are between learning disability and autism. And let's talk about the third and the last difference, the key difference that I want to discuss in this video is the support needs. The support needs are different for an individual with autism and for an individual with learning disability. Individuals with autism may require support with social interactions, communication, and behavior regulation, while individuals with learning disabilities may require accommodation and support to access learning and achieve their academic success. So they might require accommodation to access learning tools or learning facilities that support where they are lacking or where they have the disability. That is the difference. While autism, individual with autism only and not the disability, all they need is the support with behavior regulation, with communication and social interaction. That is what an individual with autism requires. Now that, as I've said in my introduction, that my son has got both autism and learning difficulties, these are some of the things that we have found to be very useful in supporting him with that awareness in the mind that he has got autism and also learning disability. So I will start with the things that we avoid, and we have been learning over time that we need to avoid these things because he has got learning difficulty. We avoid using accusatory language. Phrases like, you're not taking care of yourself, go brush your teeth, go bath, go look after yourself. We avoid phrases like that in as much as we want to encourage him to be to be proud of looking after his body, to also take pride in doing self-care. But we find kind words to remind him that it's his responsibility to look after his own body. We avoid words like, you are irresponsible, you are not taking care of yourself. Instead, we use much more polite and encouraging words, not the accusatory language or phrases, the phrases that accuse him of what he is not doing, the phrases that accuse him of what he is not able to do. The other thing that we avoid is to blame him or shame him. We avoid criticizing how he looks or how he behaves because we know it's due to the disability. It's beyond his control. There are things that we make him take responsibility. Like if he has finished eating and he needs to clear the table, we make sure that he cleans after himself. But there are things that you can see, maybe he's clumsy or he's not able, if he is bathing, he's not able to wash his body on some part of his body. We don't then say you are already way older than you should be able to do this by yourself. We do not do that. We support him and encourage him and even cheer him on things that we know that he is putting so much effort. And we also don't offer simple solutions. We avoid minimizing his struggle with easy fixes, making things easier for him. We do not do that. We support him. We make him do things the right way. If he's brushing teeth, we encourage him to brush teeth for the same length of time that is required, that has been advised by the dentist. We don't do shortcuts to make things easy for him. We want him to master the right thing, the right concept about brushing his teeth. So we teach him the right thing. We want him to master spreading his own bed the right way. So we, even if it's going to take longer than usual, we make it the right thing for him so that he get the right skill. When he finally gets it, when he finally master it, he must master the correct thing. We also avoid the expectation to cure that disability. We recognize that his challenge require ongoing support and understanding. And these are the things that we do. I wanted to start with the don'ts, which is avoid using accusatory language, phrases like you're not doing good enough, you're not trying good enough. Then the second thing that we avoid is using shame or blame. We avoid criticizing him for things that are beyond his control. We also avoid the expectation to cure that learning disability. We avoid it by all means. We support him and we offer that ongoing support and understanding, and we keep reminding each other. Then we also avoid making things simpler than they should be. When the shortcuts, we avoid offering simpler solutions. We avoid minimizing his struggles with easy and quick fixes. So those are the 4 things we do avoid. And what is it that we do now that we have learned what we should avoid or what we avoid, so that we keep supporting his learning disability way of living? So what do? We check in with him. We check in, we ask how he's feeling, and we offer a listening ear. For example, we say, how have you been doing? How are you? How has been your night? You know, we enjoy listening to your stories. Please tell us how it was. And we prompt him in a polite way that doesn't make him feel like it's a huge demand to explain in detail. If he doesn't feel like explaining in detail, it's still okay. But we do check in with him, and we use I statements, express concerns without accusing, such as, I am concerned because, you know, we care about you. We just want to know how you have been doing. You haven't been feeling well of late, and we just wanted to know if you fully recovered, all that. For example, the past weeks, he has been struggling with constipation, and we all were like, have you opened your bowels? We just concerned because we don't want you to be constipated again. And you would openly say, yes, I have opened my bowels. I'm okay. I'm now having regular bowel movements. He is giving us feedback, and he knows that we are so concerned because that is to do with his overall well-being. We also offer support. We let him know every time that we care, and we would love to listen and hear what he's concerned about. If there's any concerns, we also spend quality time, engage in activities together, watch a movie, take a walk together, and do activities that he enjoys. If he's jumping in the trampoline, do it together with him. And we also set a positive example. We avoid negative comments about appearances or experiences. We avoid negative. Just encourage that positive vibes. We encourage that positivity, the positive affirmations. We encourage him Also, we encourage professional help. He knows we'll always talk about the professionals, the dentist, the dietitian, the doctor, the therapist. We always encourage professional help when necessary, and we refer to their feedbacks and their professional advice, so that you know that it's very important. We need to brush our teeth. Remember what the dentist said. We need to avoid this. Remember what the dietitian said. We need to do this. Remember what the speech therapist encouraged you to do. So we reinforce the professional support and professional advice. We also found that by following some of these things, it creates a culture of being patient, empathetic, and supportive. And you also, it gives a positive impact. It gives him a positive outlook of life. It makes him have a positive expectations. And it lifts his mood. So these are some of the things that we support our child who is on the autism spectrum and also has learning difficulties. I would love to hear how you support those people that you know who are living with learning disabilities and maybe with other conditions, just like my son. He has learning disability, but at the same time, he also is autistic. So I would love to learn from you and hear what has been your experience. If you're a caregiver, if you are a mom to, or you're a relative to somebody who has got learning disability, what is it that you have been doing that has worked for you? I would love to learn from you and grow, and also see what I can add to the things that I'm already doing to support my son. I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the comment section. Please remember to tag someone. Remember to share the live with this video, and also let me know what you think about this topic. I'm looking forward to engage with you in the comment section. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.